a minute. So let me just get my screen set up. Let me get my recording nearly ready. And we should be just about ready to kick things off as people are coming in. As you guys come in, if you don't mind, assuming you're inside of the HubSpot event, and if you're not inside of the HubSpot event, you can, since I'm restreaming this, you can go to events.hubspot.com and just enter real quick, and you can join us live and in the chat. If you're in the chat inside of the HubSpot Hub event, then what I would encourage you to do is let me know where you're coming in from. And I already see that we have Nigeria, we have the Philippines, we have Canada. Is there anybody in the United States joining in the call today? It's going to be a mixed group. And I'm also interested in knowing, I got Denver, I got New Jersey. So that's great. And one of the things I'm also interested in understanding, we got South Carolina. I'm interested in knowing, are you a marketer? Are you an agency? Are you a business owner, founder, CEO? You could just put boss. Let me know kind of what you are, and we'll that way I can kind of tailor a little bit to our group that we have today. So as we come in here, we're going to make sure we get everything lined up. Bum, 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 bum. I'm going to come over here and start to hit a couple recording buttons. Marketer, business, founder, boss. Nice. Got a lot of bosses. All right, cool. With this in mind, we're going to go ahead and get started. I am going to get a couple of recording buttons going so that we make the very most of everything that we're doing. Hit record here. I am. And now we will go ahead and get kicked off. Is that cool? I'm going to go ahead and hit record on this. Record this session. Hit record. All right, guys, I'm really excited that you're here. We're going to get started in just a moment. One of the things I need to warn you about in advance is that I talk a little bit fast. So I talk a little bit fast. And I think that one of the things that happened is I learned from someone who was doing presentations, and they said, there's two things that you could do. Is you could go long and you could suck. And the worst thing that you would want to do is go long and suck. So I generally have a high tempo of talking so that if there's a section of this presentation that is not entirely wired and dialed for you, then it will be over soon. Now, with that, if everybody said where they're coming from and whether you're an agency owner, you're a marketer, you're a founder, CEO, I just said put in boss, then what we will do is we will go ahead and get started. Now, what I've done here is I've given myself a reminder to press record. Kevin, have you pressed record? I have pressed record in both places, and it appears that we have audio in all of the places. So with that being the case, we're going to go ahead and get started. The topic of this presentation is go-to-market mastery. And we're going to talk a little bit about marketing versus go-to-market inside of this series that I'm going to be doing. But for starters, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about go-to-market mastery. And we're going to be thinking about that key difference. And a lot of times it's that go-to-market strategy that makes all the difference in our marketing. And what it does is it allows us to rev it up. It allows us to rev up the amplitude and the ROI of everything that we're doing marketing-wise. And I wanted to visualize that, but I didn't know how. So I asked someone on my team to do that. And that's what they did. They went ahead and put together the fact that if we can get each component of our marketing flywheel, I like to call it a marketing growth loop, right? If we can get that dialed in, what happens is we can have this self-funding growth machine, because each level of this will be self-funding and pay for itself, which will allow you to reinvest part of the revenue and profits back into doing more and more marketing until you ultimately dominating the market as the growth leader. Okay. So with that in mind, if you don't know who I am, my name is Kevin Barber, and I'm the head of growth at Lean Labs. And I'm also the founder of a go-to-market program called Get Growth. And one of the things that, if you don't know me, is that I've been doing digital marketing for a long time. I've been doing that. I now have to start that number with a 2. So for 2 decades, I've been involved in digital marketing, and I've been able to do that with some amazing brands. If you were to describe me, I would say someone would describe me as entrepreneurs certainly, but obsessed with replicating growth. How do we make this work in a systematic way? I went to school for engineering, so ultimately I'm just trying to go, how do we turn this into a formula? What is the math behind this, right? We're Inc. 5000 brand. We're a high impact HubSpot partner. We've won the 2CC awards, even though we don't use ClickFunnels. I'm a new faculty member for digital marketer in the M3 Mastermind. I'm a father of 3, man of faith. I live in Tampa, Florida, and I love riding bikes and building brands. This is my sport. So what I want to do is make sure that we're playing at a high level today. And if I can give you some great ideas along the way, that's why we're here. Okay. So the fact is that I have marketed most things in my career, from innovative B2B to innovative B2C. Never done so much brick and mortar, never done so much like a utility or a commodity product, but whether it's SaaS and tech, cybersecurity, Internet of Things, point of sale, CMS, co-working spaces, database technology, franchise stuff, B2B professional services, or a whole bunch of B2C stuff, I've basically done it. And here is a couple of key lessons that are going to just set us up in the deal. If I had to look back, especially early in my career, most of it was mediocre results. I'm just going to be honest with you. Most of it was mediocre results. I was doing what the book said, what the courses said, but I wasn't seeing all the results in a consistently repeatable way. I would definitely have some wins, and then I would go, man, what made that win? Was it even me? Did I even actually contribute, since I can't replicate it in a systematic way? Does that make sense? So that has definitely driven me for quite a few years to figure that out, to root it out, to get to a much better place. Now, my key lesson is I was doing some of the right steps, but I was doing them in the wrong order, and I wasn't able to see the return on investment from what I was doing because I was missing some core components underneath it. And underneath the layer of our marketing, there are some core foundational pieces, which we now call go-to-market, and we're going to start solving that today. All right. Now, I don't want to do a quick audio check. Everything looking good. If you guys don't mind in the chat, just make sure that we're in a good spot. You can see me, you can hear me. Things basically are looking good. If you don't mind, just give me that. I see a thumbs up from Stefan. So we're going to keep going. So the number one request I receive as running, Lean Labs, which is an outsourced growth team for SaaS and tech companies, is how can you help us scale? And I got to let you know that the number one question that I have learned to ask is scale what? What do you have that's proven profitable, highly converting, that I can go out and help you scale? Because most of the time, upon an inspection, and we did some statistics a little while ago, it's much higher than this now. At that time, we had looked at 813 meetings that I had, over 500 of them getting some analytics audits. The other 300, we didn't need to do an audit. We knew the numbers weren't there, right? Looking at their analytics, looking at lead magnets, looking at the demo conversion rate, the demo ascension rate, into opportunity and closing. And the number of companies that I had found out of 813 meetings and over 500 audits was 44 had proven profitable marketing, were ready to scale. And then when that's what we're all thinking about and prepping about and planning about and executing about, is there a chance that Houston, we have a problem? We're focusing on the wrong thing. Is there a chance that that's the deal? And like, we're actually playing, we're playing a game in the wrong order. And that's going to be a lot of our focus today, because I'm going to show you where this applies to your business. For me, it made a massive focus shift, because I could only work with a few of those brands with what we were able to do. We were able to help with competitive positioning. We were able to help with brand narrative. We were able to help with buyer journey, but only if you had the core foundation right. So this has shifted my focus to go-to-market mastery, which is the name of this HubSpot event that I am so gracious and looking forward to taking you through. It's going to be a multi-episode journey so that we can go deep. Is everyone down for that? Are we good for that? Is it okay if we go deep? Now, the agenda for what we're going to be covering today is, are you ready to scale? And I'm going to give you a self-assessment so that you know exactly where you're at. I recognize that people are coming from different places, and the stage of growth of your business may not be the exact stage of somebody else's growth. So we're going to make sure that there's something relevant for everybody. The second thing I'm going to do is once you understand the stage of growth, I'm going to show you the rules of growth, what I have reverse engineered to be the 5 phases of growth. So you can understand exactly what phase you're in and know exactly what to work on. Then, because at that point, just so you know, we've got about 99 slides to cover today, guys. At that point, we'll have gone through quite a bit. I'm going to stop mid-section and we're going to do a Q&A right in the middle. And that's a little bit abnormal, but I want to make sure that we can clear your RAM so we can talk about self-funding marketing and some of the exact steps that we need to be thinking through. And then what we'll do is we'll talk about a little bit of a positioning preview, which will set up our next session, okay? And that's basically the deal. And there will be an ask at an end, and the ask will be, I'm just letting you know, the ask at the end will be to fill out a review, to let me know if this was valuable, where it was valuable, and what we could do to make it better for you in the next session. That's the ask. Is that a fair deal? If I do a good job, you're going to give me that feedback. Is that okay? All right, very good. So I do have to ask you, because my team will testify, I tend to go a little serious. So I need to know, it's Friday. How do you want it? Do we want to take it easy? Or do you want me to bring it? Which way would you like this to go? I don't want to blow you out of the water on a Friday unless you're ready for it. So I need to know if you want me to take it easy and chillax a little, or bring it. Okay, it is exclusively bring it, which is good, because if you're going to chillax, I was going to actually suggest you exit. I don't know how to do it any other way. That's the only way I had to go. I'm not intentionally trying to trigger you, but I might be trying to motivate you, okay, in order to see the challenges and be able to solve them. So that's the deal. Now, big picture, let's just make sure we understand what we're looking to do here as marketers doing marketing, or even as the founders or the bosses to grow our company. The job of the growth team, and I believe the growth team is not just your marketing people, but all the people from sales, marketing, success, and leadership. The job of that team, right, is to phase one, let's at least get fully online, right? Let's be in the game. Okay. And then we got to get good at the game. And once we get good at that game, and that might take some revolutions, then the goal is what Mark Roberge from HubSpot called growth and moat. We need to go so fast and build a fortress around us that our competitors don't really have a chance. We're going to outrank them. We're going to out offer them. We're going to out convert them. We're going to out channel dominate them to where it's very difficult for our incumbents to come in and grab market share. Does that make sense? That's the game. Now, can we generally agree that's the game? First, we got to get online, then we got to get good, then we got to do growth and moat. That's what dominating in terms of marketing looks like. Yes? I'm going to wait for the comments because this is important. The entire presentation is built upon recognizing that this is the game that we're playing. All right? And with that, yeah, I got 100%. All right, I'm going to take that as my move forward. With that, if you hire a marketer or get hired into marketing, you get brought in as a CMO, you get brought in as a lead marketer, you get brought in as an agency. Is it fair to think that most of the market says we need to do results in 3 to 7 months, right? So someone who's not as familiar might be like, I need to see results in 3 months, right? And someone who's a little bit more familiar with marketing, has done some stuff before, might be like, okay, 5, 6, 7 months. And after that, most people will be getting nervous, going, I'm not sure if this is working well. Is that about right? If that's about right, just type in yes in the chat if that's about right. If that's kind of the leash that you are generally expecting and used to, right? And I have definitely run into the engagements where they're expecting marketing results in like 3 weeks and not 3 months. They're like, oh, we published a blog post. Where's my money? But the deal is that but I think oftentimes that's the result period. And then it helps set up. I see 3 to 6 months is a sweet spot. Sometimes they want it yesterday. I've already paid my deposit. I checked my bank account and nothing new has been put in it. What is going on? So anyways, and I see 1 year. I see a year. And that's good. That's a good mindset. And I appreciate that. So here's the deal. Inside of this, we're working on getting fully online, getting good so that we can do growth and moat. But buyers are just constantly evaluating us from day one. What they're doing is they're going, okay, when I think about the solution, and I find someone, if I look them up and they're not easily found on review sites, I can't see 5-star ratings and reviews, I'm gonna disqualify, right? And if I look for them in search, if I'm searching things up and I find everyone but them, I might come over here to this guy who's more findable, right? Or even this guy who's ranks everywhere and super insightful. So I gotta have 5-star ratings, if not be the leader. I gotta rank in order to kind of check that box for the buyer. And if they want to look for me on social media, if they're like in a LinkedIn group, or they're looking on, Facebook or YouTube, or now it's Reddit and TikTok, and if you think that doesn't apply to you, you should look at the demographics. If you're 35 or younger, more than half people search on TikTok before they search on Google. Okay, so don't think there's zero opportunity on those newer emerging channels, right? But the deal is if you're unknown and have a small following, the buyers are utilizing that to put you in the risky box, right? And they're also thinking about their network effect. Who do they know? And they're asking about, okay, have you heard of this company? Have you used this company? Who are you using? And what buyers are doing is they're evaluating on multiple fronts: reputation, whether you're showing up, whether they're even finding you in the first place in search, whether they're finding you and seeing what kind of following you have inside of social, because these are all effects that suggest that you're worth betting on. So we got to get that right? And then the CEO of the company and investors in companies, what they're looking for is a return on their marketing investment, right? So when you first get online, probably have a mediocre marketing message, right? Probably converting below benchmarks, probably have an unproven or unprofitable funnel, if I can use that word. And oftentimes we're not tracking, customer acquisition costs, lifetime value, or return on investment from marketing. Right. And so it's our job to get at least to meeting benchmarks, at least a 6-figure growth. And maybe we're not yet crushing the CAC and the LTV, but we got to be tracking it before we can expect to be crushing it. Right. And ultimately, we need a proven magnetic message. We need to be beating all benchmarks. We need a 7-figure funnel, and we need to have go-to-market fit, which is having the customer acquisition cost as a relationship to LTV, showing the ROI necessary that makes us scalable. Is that about the job? Is that about the job? Now, if you want to, you can do an analysis of where you are in the job. And Stefan, if you wouldn't mind dropping this into the chat so people don't have to type it out, but you can go to growthgrader.com/get, and it will invite you to make a copy of this deal. And you could just go down and basically you could print it out and circle it, or you could just colorize it inside of the spreadsheet. This growth grader it's a fancy name for a spreadsheet. And there's a few other things in there I think you're going to find value. We go through our growth flywheel of the key metrics of growth. And one of the things that you can do is you can take a look at where you're at, just so you understand where you're starting from. Because I think, how do you chart a map to your destination if you don't know where you're starting from? How do you program that into the GPS? GPS be like, good luck. Okay. So the idea is that we need to make sure that we know where we're starting from. And I think that's really important. And then we got to start prioritizing. See, buyers, they expect you to have 5-star ratings and reviews, be findable, have a trusted guide and following. And even if they haven't talked to somebody who knows you, likes you, loves you, they at least want to hear that people have heard of you. And if you can do that, if you can thread this line, you can make it into the either potential candidate or actually trusted candidate deal. Does that make sense? Like, that's your job, is to get there as fast as humanly possible. All right. And then for CEOs, I'm just going to be honest with you. All right. If you want to raise a round of funding, if you want your CEO to actually compliment you in this world of marketing, or you want some kudos from sales, right? We can't be having mixed results. We can't just be meeting benchmarks. We can't just have a 6-figure result. No one's looking for that, right? Everyone's looking to push us over into becoming scalable as fast as humanly possible. Yeah, that's the game. Meanwhile, we're mostly focused on driving traffic. Hey, marketer friends, is that about right? Is that about right? Yep. There might be a little bit of a challenge in our go-to-market strategy. So this is the job, right? I'm sorry. Did I forget paid ads? Did I forget paid ads? We gotta do that. That's like almost its own job, right? Um, oh, and remember, we want to have make sure we're getting really good results in that 3 to 7 months post website launch. Is that fair? Is that fair? That's what we're also looking for. I did hear 1 year, and I think that's a good one. But I might have forgot a few things. Okay. Inside of marketing, we gotta support the CEO, we gotta support sales. We gotta be thinking about events, thought leadership, co-marketing. We're gonna help with onboarding, we're gonna help with slide decks. By the way, for this slide deck, which is there's some super great slides to come. Thanks, Maria, for the help. And now it's community-led growth, and we got to have content marketing. And by the way, while we're doing the content marketing, why don't we just add AI to it, make sure we can get that right? And then we need to support sales with targeted accounts and email nurture, and we got to do product-led growth, and we got to do website messaging, and we got to think about better team imagery and product imagery. And by the way, why are we making more videos? And also, we need partnerships and resellers. Is that about right? All right. Oh, yeah. And I need results in 3 to 7 months. Is that about right? Oh, and meanwhile, let's just be honest, raise your hand and go, AI, if you've wondered at least once if AI will end up replacing us. Just type in AI if you have at least wondered that once. Bum, 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 bum. I want to see some AIs come up in here. Yeah, you've wondered that, but our job is pretty hard about it. So here's the deal. I forgot a few more things. I'm sorry. But what about buyers' personas and ratings and reviews and staying on top of analytics and training new people and doing marketing automation? And hey, we've seen some SEO slippage over here. We need to take care of that. We need to make sure we're in compliance with privacy policies, GDPRs, and all the new things that people make up. Competitive analysis for sales, unique value propositions, sales materials, lead segmentation, scoring, cleaning up the CRM, creating and scripting videos for other people to make or make ourselves, and reply to our emails when we have a minute. Yeah? All right, cool. Now let's think about how big is our marketing team and what exactly are we asking of them? That's what we're asking of them. Yeah. Like if that's you, go, that's me. Just go put me. Now, this is not an AI course. Okay. This is not an AI course. So have you ever thought about asking AI what you should work on? Because, like, have you ever wondered where we're supposed to focus? Because this is kind of like pulling a rabbit out of a hat. And if you're coming into a company from scratch, it's like, well, we don't have a rabbit or a hat. So do I start growing the rabbit or do I start sewing the hat? Which one of these should I be working on? Right? Because I'm not actually sure where this is supposed to come from. And if I'm going to pull off this magic trick, I don't even have the wand. So how are we going to do abracadabra without the wand, right? So I asked AI, because that's what we're supposed to be doing as marketers. I asked AI how it could, help me with my overload, and I want to show you its response. It felt exactly the same. It felt exactly the same way. And the deal is, as good news as I'm making AI now. I'm using AI now because I made this image with AI last night, right? And that's basically the deal. I don't think you're going to get a strategic overview from this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend the rest of this time talking through what I have come to realize is what some of these big companies are doing in order to get the momentum early in the process, which is a lot of stuff that the smaller companies and agencies are skipping over. And I have skipped over in my career more times than I would like to admit. And when you have to come back later, when we're already 6 months and 6 figures in, and realize you got to go back to that foundation, that is a status lowering event, y'all. and if that's happened to you before, then I just want you to know you're not alone. So that was basically just my warm up for today's session. What we're going to move into now is the 5 phases of growth, so we can get some real impact from what we're doing. Does that make sense? I do hope that you'll do the self-assessment. I hope that you'll check out the Growth Grader. It's growthgrader.com/get. And you can just click make a copy. I'm not looking for your email, anything. We use the Growth Grader every 6 months with our clients just to reassess where we're at, because we must have a foundation that's solid. Can we agree that in the most elite levels of all sports, normally it's not trick plays, it's mastering the basics. It's mastering the basics at an expert world-class level. It's mastering the basics. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually do something slightly boring. We're going to go back and look at those basics and make sure that we've mastered them, because that's the lever of growth. That's the lever to get the bigger return from your existing marketing investment. Are you with me? All right. I told you I was going to bring it. So here's the deal. I bet that your company converts and closes word of mouth, that's WOM, word of mouth referrals easily, but you struggle to bring in a steady and increasing flow of new sales qualified leads. Did I get that about right? If you don't mind, just say correct. If that's the deal, we're doing great with word of mouth leads. We're great with referrals. But it's the sales qualified leads is what we're focusing on. I see the corrects coming in. All right, cool. And here's the deal: if you're winning with word of mouth referrals and affiliated sales, so that's any place where someone comes to know you, like you, trust you outside of you doing your own marketing, but struggling to drive sales qualified leads of your own, right? In a proven, profitable, meeting your sales targets way. I'm going to show you why, but it's going to feel a little bit worse before it feels a little bit better. Okay. The deal is, it's not that you need to drive more marketing and drive more traffic and drive more ads. It's that they saw your marketing and they didn't care. Okay. Because if you can't win, out of 50 or 500, the algorithm is not going to show you to 5,000. Okay. It's going to go, oh, this is underperforming. We're going to remove this. This works with how your paid ads get displayed. This works with how organic gets displayed. This works with how social get displayed. And the fact is that algorithms are doing the reason why all the eyeballs go to these tools is because they do a decent job of filtering out content. And it's not that you need to do more of it. It's that it's not there yet. It's not grabbing and arresting the attention of the target market. And I'm sorry to take that there, but I'm going to take it one more. If you don't think that's you, just look at your website stats. Oh, crap. Yeah, I meant that with love. I meant that with love. Okay. But the deal is if you're not seeing the deal, it's either high engagement and conversion times low volume that's keeping me from hitting your goals, or it's low engagement and conversion times any volume that's not going to be profitable. Sorry, y'all. Okay. Now, when you have high engagement and high conversion times low volume, do more. When you have low engagement and conversion times any volume, stop and reassess. And that's what sets up the basic deal. Let's identify the gap. Everyone's starting in a different place. If you're in the startup world, I want to know if you guys are familiar with product market fit, problem solution fit. If you're familiar with product market fit, will you type in PMF yes, product market fit yes, PMF yes. And if you're not, just type in a question mark. Product market fit's not something I think about and talk about. All right, PMF yes. All right, I'm seeing universal PMF yes. That's good. That's what this deck is aligned for. Thank you. And that's what we basically do. So, of course, we're solving problems for clients, right? And we want to scale. So, and most people assume that we have product market fit. So if we're trying to move from problem solution fit, I can solve people's problems to scale. What do we need to do? What do we need to do? Okay. Do we need to do an ad campaign? What else would we need to do? What if we tried that and it didn't work? Now what? Right? Do we need to make a new bling website? What if we already tried that? Well, now do we do? Right? Do we need to do inbound marketing or content marketing or account-based marketing? What do we need to do? Right? Come on, Kevin, you've been belaboring this out for a second. Why don't you show me the deal? The deal is I don't think product market fit answers that question very well. We know we're not yet able to scale. It's not working yet. I'm not a very big fan of product market fit. I'm going to break that down for you. And to be honest with you, I'm not a very big fan of problem solution fit either, because everyone assumed, if you don't mind, type in a yes, PSF. Yes, PSF, if you assumed you had problem solution fit. Just type in yes, PSF if you just looked at, and of course I had problem solution fit. Yep. Seeing a few yeses. All right. Thank you for that, guys. In my opinion, the product market fit pyramid sucks. That's a technical term. I grabbed an image off the internet. Page Pro, thanks for letting me grab that image and utilize that. That wouldn't give you due credit. The problem with product market fit is everyone thinks they have it, right? They think they're way past MVP, and because they deliver great client results, they're ready to scale. I'm going to suggest that it's a little bit different for sales-led growth. Product market fit is for product-led companies without a sales team. That's for the Airbnbs and Dropboxes and Slacks and Ubers of the world, where it's about high conversion rates to sign up for the app, then to get people using the app, that's activation in their world, then paying for the app, that's revenue in their world, and then keep using it. That's the retention component of their world, all without really ever talking to a human. You ever talk to anybody at Uber? You ever talk to anybody at Airbnb? You ever talk to anybody at a Dropbox? What they're trying to do with product market fit is get this all wrapped up in an application experience that generally you can do on your phone. Sales led B2B growth is different because of how buyers buy. It's just a little bit different. And I'm going to show you this because the first thing you got to understand is your product is not why they choose you. Your product is why they keep you. Okay? So the deal is when I first came into the HubSpot ecosystem, I did not come in for their product, nor had I ever actually seen it. I came in because I knew that I could be a little bit of a bigger fish in a smaller pond than just the entire ecosystem of the internet, right? And we could bring some of the things that we knew how to do into this ecosystem, but we weren't using the software yet. When we did it back in 2013, it was a totally different world. And the COS at that exact time was not honestly that good yet. Sorry, HubSpot. But we started winning a lot of clients from HubSpot. They came out with a new version of that. We went ahead and took on some of those projects. And then we started seeing we had, all of our content, all of our campaigns, all of our analytics, all in one place. We could run our split testing, our reporting. We could sync with sales all in one tool. And we did an assessment in, I think, 2015. And we were seeing more traction, more alignment, and more just week by week and month by month execution on HubSpot than the other platform that we're using. So we switched, right? But HubSpot's not what made me choose them. It's what made me keep them. The fact is that we've sold HubSpot a lot of times. Stefan, we sold HubSpot a lot of times, right? When it's the right product for the market. The fact is, how many times have I demoed HubSpot in the last 10 years? I was talking about this with pretty awesome person at HubSpot just a couple weeks ago. And you know what it is? I came up with twice in a decade, because it's not about seeing the product. It's about understanding some other things about the brand. And I bet that you don't go super deep in showing your product and exactly how that works before they buy. I bet you just glance over the core components. You're actually selling something else. And having that great product deliver is not why they choose you, because they've never experienced that great product deliver. At most, they've seen a demo. That's why they keep you. Can I get an amen? Can I get an amen? Is that okay? Can I get an amen in that? If that's the deal. Like, oh crap, that's not the deal. I'm getting an amen, so I appreciate it. All right. So with all this going on, where and how are we supposed to focus? Am I supposed to grow the rabbit or sew the hat? What am I supposed to do? I'm going to show you what I figured out, which is the 5 phases of growth. And your goal, your job today is to figure out your current phase of growth. Phase 1, problem solution proof, message market match, offer market fit. I have broken apart product market fit into the key phases that you need in order to grow and scale. And I figured out that this is what all those high growth companies did. And they just summarize it into product market fit. Stage 1, problem solution proof. Here's what you got to do. You got to get impressive, if not market leading results for clients, right? Here's the part where we suck. And you have to document it. You have to document it in 5-star ratings, reviews, and recommendations. It's the biggest lever. It is the biggest lever because people are buying based upon trust. When they have a belief that you are going to outperform the other guys, they choose you. And we don't have the proof that demonstrates results. If you can out-demonstrate results than your competitors, technically, they might even be a bigger company with more overall aggregate results. But when you're the person that can prove it, you have the lever. And you don't want something else? The most effective form of marketing is marketing proof of the results of what you've already gotten for other clients. It's the most effective deal. It's talking about the stories of before this, they had this cost of customer acquisition, and now it's this. They had this ESG score, and now it's this. And this is what that meant for their business, right? They had this amount of traffic and leads, and then we went to this amount of traffic and leads. That's weak. What I need to see is this amount of traffic and leads and this much business from it, and this amount of traffic and leads and this much business from it. Like, we got to go deeper on the result and impact of the work that we do. That's phase 1. Problem solution, not fit. Proof. And you might want to ask yourself, How strong and compelling is my proof? Because if you want to focus on one thing that's going to drive a bigger result, it's have stronger proof of results and market that. Okay. We have this RSP formula in our program: result, system, proof. Show me the results you're getting, help me understand the system by which you're getting it, and show me the proof of examples of actual clients, best form of marketing. It's day one. Day one. Let's make sure we get this right, okay? Now, here's how buyers are buying. Are they really going to give you 30 to 60 minutes for a demo, a consult, a quote, multiple meetings, but not spend 2 seconds to Google you first? You going to do that? Anybody here going to do that? I'm just going to go to somebody. Here's a real life example of marketing that I'm attempting to turn around, but my clients over here on the left side, this is their social profile. And this is their crappy competition over on the right-hand side. Okay. How's marketing going to go? And where does this apply for you? I don't do this to kind of give my client a hard time, although we've been working on this for about 11 months. Okay. It's not so much that, it's to let you live from my pain, my most difficult client engagement. And I believe it is largely because of this. Now let's talk about it a little bit deeper. I told you I was going to bring it. This is where we got in the last 11 months. Did you see it? It's right there. Okay. And this is their crappy competitor and what they did in the last 11 months. They moved from here to here. We're losing this game, y'all. Okay. The deal is that you got to be the trust leader before you can expect to be the growth leader. And I learned this several years ago with this client, one of my favorites. Sorry. You know how you're not supposed to pick which children are your favorites? You're totally allowed to pick which clients are your favorites. It's totally allowed. Just letting you know. I looked it up. I asked ChatGPT. Okay. The deal is that in November of the year that we started with them, they had 0 reviews. And yeah, we tried driving up visits. And what we realized is the conversion rate just wasn't going to work. So we worked together on putting together some initial reviews on that platform. And we got to 16 in 60 days. And you know what? It's kind of weird. Demos went up 3x. Huh. And traffic was only up 30%. Demos were up 3x. Maybe people are looking to check that box before they book. Right. The fact is, and that was early in the game. I think this screenshot shows them about 189 or whatever. And the deal is that like that's just the first box that everyone's looking to check. So we doubled down. And again, they took it over. They're running it. They are the growth leader in their space, and it started with their reputation. And the deal is that 0 to 16 reviews got 3x, 16 to hundreds of views got more than 10x. All right. But I want to also point out that not just any review will do. You need to think about the review that demonstrates the results of what you get for clients, because the very best marketing is not to say the results you got for clients. It's the very best marketing is for them to say the results that you got for clients, and you can involve them in your marketing. Okay. And I believe getting results for clients is part of marketing. It's part of marketing. Okay. So that we can not just get results, but we can document it so we can market the expletive out of it. Okay. So speaking of AI, one of the things we did is we built a tool, because you know how hard it is to get customer testimonials to be actually really good. I mean, they're not copywriters, right? So what we did is we actually utilized the AI. We put together, I think it's 7 questions where they just type in a response. You know what it does? It writes a review for them. And the review is pretty good. Like that's a way to use AI. Don't think of it doing your job for you. Think of it as helping you augment and get things that are difficult to happen a little bit more consistently. Here's an example review. I try to, what do you call that when you blur everything out? There's a word for it. I can't remember right now. But what's that? Yeah, this is a redacted version, just so I'm not putting client stuff on the screen. But like an AI deal was like, company name is our most critical thing that they do tool, right? And then it goes through the whole struggling, part to understand where they started from and what they were looking for and what they were concerned about, right? And the only thing I didn't like was this word pragmatic. I'm like, okay, AI, people don't say pragmatic. But outside of that, it was pretty smoking awesome, right? And I wish that we could just fix that one word before we pasted it up there, but no big deal. And then since using their solutions, they've been able to significantly reduce the most important pain point. They've experienced the benefits of that, which has allowed them to do this most important thing that they want to do. And to establish a simple set, which is their goal, to review and do the most important part of their job. Oh my gosh. And saving hundreds of hours, which is ultimately one of their core functions from a business perspective, yet still do their job, right? They highly recommend it. This is all written by AI. Not so bad, eh? Like, this is how we can play that game. If you want to see how this might work, if you want to play with this and see if you should do this in your business, just give me a message. Just give me a message. Does that make sense? Someone asked if I could go back one slide. You're welcome to screenshot this and make up your own thing. Does that make sense? You're welcome to. All right, very good. I'm going to advance. And here we go. Now, I got a little off track on the 5 phases of growth. Can I just start that part over? I might have gone a little bit into rant phase for phase 1. So nailing their problem and showing your results is why they choose you. When your marketing nails the problem that's happening in their business, you tap into their frustrations, their pain, right? And you can show them the result that you're able to achieve for others. That's why people choose you. So let's start there. That's why it's the first phase of growth. So the 5 phases of growth are as such. First is problem solution proof. We want to show impressive market leading results. We want to document that in 5-star ratings, reviews, and case studies, right? Then we want to move into second phase of growth, which is message market match. It's our messaging. We need to have compelling belief changing insights. Why do we need compelling belief changing insights? Because right now the market is a no. If you said, hey, do you want my thing? They're like, no. Does that make sense? That's why. And the thing we got to do is those insights can't be about you. I'm sorry. We've been doing this too long, y'all. The insights have to be about them. It's around their wants, their needs, the way they're looking at it. And we're not doing that well enough if you don't have engaging messaging. You don't technically need a lead magnet if you just have, here's the result we're getting for people. Here's the way we're doing it. This is the approach that a lot of companies are taking. Here's a new perspective, right? And so if you're looking for this kind of problem to go away and this kind of solution to be in place, just reply. Drop me a message. You don't even need the fancy things if you have the right message. And if you don't have the right message, the fancy things are not going to help you, right? Once you do have that message market match, yeah. Well, now we want to make sure that we're converting on offers, driving a sales funnel. I believe the sales funnel needs 3 key offers: a connection value offer, thing that gets them connected to sales. That's your demo, right? That's that offer that they're going to book, right? To actually talk live. And then you need a switch offer, something that makes people switch, very high conversion. And you need a stack, which is your core offer. Those are the 3 key offers. We go into that pretty deeply. We can do that in another session if you guys want. And then the lead magnets are designed only to convert that sales funnel. If it doesn't do that, you need to eliminate them. We went through and cut a lot of our lead magnets that just were like, oh, here's various stuff that we made, but it didn't actually drive into our sales funnel. Okay. You know what we did? We just ungated it. Like, here you go. It's the thing. By the way, if you want help with solving this gap, we can do this. That's what led to the new lead magnet. All right. Now, go-to-market fit is the next phase. This is the one that we tend to struggle with because we didn't get the foundation right. That's elevating and optimizing the brand experience for ROI, not to mention that buyers expect a fairly polished brand experience that's working too. But if you do not have ROI, you cannot scale. If you do not have your problem solution proof and your message market match and your offer market fit right, then you will not have the unit economics of go-to-market fit. And I learned this from Mark Roberge, and it was super valuable. Oh my gosh, life-changing. In fact, I think our business just I stopped working on anything else before I figured out how to apply this to my business and my clients' businesses. Okay? All right, very good. And Jennifer, on the 3 offers, we could definitely go through that in a future session, but it's the connection value offer. So the offer that gets them to meet with you. It is the switch offer, the offer that has a tremendously high conversion rate, gets past that first dollar problem. Oftentimes it's selling a smaller engagement for an instant result. And then it's the stock offer, your core offer that you already sell, and selling that to people that have already generally met with you, got something from you. And then, of course, the conversion rate on that tends to be very high. That's what I tend to encourage for clients that are not crushing it on the sales benchmarks. All right. Very good. Now, when you have the ROI, well, yeah, now you can scale. Now you can go do the fun stuff. Now we can just 10x the spend and we can double down on what's working. But when brands come in and they're looking to scale and they haven't built this foundation, do you understand why marketing is so hard and it doesn't work? So this is what that looks like. We got to have impressive results in the form of documented 5-star ratings and case studies. If you guys, you don't have to share it, but I want you to do a self-assessment of what phase you're at, because you can't go to phase 2 unless you have phase 1. Okay. Second one is engagement. You should have buyer inquiries based upon messages you're putting in the market. If you do not have buyer inquiries based upon messaging that you're putting in the market, then you do not have phase 2. Okay. I need to scroll my chat down here. Phase 3 is you need to be actually hitting some customer acquisition goals with marketing. That lets you know that your offers are right. Okay. And then phase 4 is hitting those goals profitably. Okay. And then finally you can scale. That's full gas. All right. So if you're interested, what do you guys think is the stage of growth that you're in? We have the 5-star ratings and case studies and reviews, and we can show impressive results. We're showing it now. Is it that? Or is it, I have that, but I need to have the messaging that taps into what my client wants to see and needs to hear, messaging and compelling insights about them. What's going to drive more engagement? That's phase 2. Okay. And then now I need to turn my buyer inquiries, my engagement, into hitting goals with marketing. That's phase 3. Then doing that profitably. That's phase 4. And then we can scale. And it's a little bit of a status hit. I get it. Winning isn't to recognize what phase of growth you're in. And I'm seeing the chats coming through, and I'm recognizing that we're realizing what it is that we're working on. Is that what we were working on yesterday? If you don't mind, let me know. Is that what you were working on yesterday? If yes, it's what you were already working on yesterday, then I haven't done my job yet. If it's like, no, that's not what I was working on yesterday, and now I need to shift my stuff, then I feel like I have done my job. So if you don't mind, let me know. Is that what you were working on yesterday? And I'm going to refill my drink while I get just a little bit of feedback. Then we're going to go deeper. We're almost to Q&A. All right. Yep, shifting will be happening. Okay, very good. That means we're doing the right stuff, because we don't have a marketing problem. We have a go-to-market problem. We haven't got the foundation right. So what we need to do, if we really want to dial in and target our ideal customer, stop them in their tracks, we need to understand how are they thinking? What are they wanting? What are their pains? What are their questions? What are their doubts? What are their fears? They've probably seen your stuff before. They're a little bit skeptical. So if you want to break through, this is day 1 of our program. We got to think about the result that we're getting for clients, and how do we show it? Where do we show it? When do we show it? And how compelling is it? What's the believable system by which we're getting results for those clients? How do we make this result that we're getting believable? How do we show them how it happens? Where's the magic that makes this possible? And then I need like undisputable proof. We need to be able to win a court case, y'all, on how we show that this result is actually happening for clients that we have, or for past clients. Does it make sense? Like, that's the game. And when you win the proof game, you win the belief game. And that's what marketing is giving them the belief that you're not going to let them down. You're going to get them the result that you promised. At the core, that's the game. And a confused or concerned mind always says no. And oftentimes we're failing down at that lower end of the scale. So instead of having a bigger promise, or hiring a bigger team, or a bigger ad budget, or more content creation, or more discounts, what about we just focus on how we demonstrate and generate belief that we're going to deliver the desired result? What if we just did that? Okay. So that's where we need that new level of specificity inside of our marketing. Great marketing shows you how your stuff gets them what they want. We're doing all the fancy things, but we haven't done this yet. Okay, that's stage one of this. Now, I'm at the mid-section Q&A. Stefan, have any questions come in? Because I don't even figured out how to get to the questions panel yet. Okay, cool. Let me take a look. Bum, 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 bum. Best means for growing those reviews. Yeah, so the very best means for growing reviews, in my opinion, is to you have retention, resell, upsell meetings, right? Some level of a retention, resell, upsell, contract renewal, or you have a monthly meeting or whatever. If you guys have some sort of retention, resell, upsell, or just say retain in the chat. Does that make sense? If you have retention, resell, upsell as a system in your business, just put retain in the chat. Retain. All right. Retain. Retain. All right, cool. So most people have that in their business. That's good. It's important, right? I don't mean to oversimplify y'all, but what if we just asked them? What if we just asked them, how's it going? And by the way, from our metrics, it looks like we're getting you this result. Is that what you're seeing? Okay, cool. Would you be open to me asking you a set of questions so that I can have AI write out a pretty decently glowing testimonial, but it's going to be all rooted in the answers to your questions. So it's 100% legit. And then we're going to review it in advance. And I'm going to ask you to post it. And by the way, I'm going to send you either a Starbucks or an Amazon or whatever gift card for the fact that you're going to be helping us in our marketing, especially if you wouldn't mind then sharing it on your social profile. You're going to like it before you share it. Is that okay? I'm going to be honest with you. For me and the clients doing that, I've yet to get a no. I have yet to get a no. Okay? Now, I have got a yes. Can we set that meeting for after next week? I've gotten that. And you know what we did? We set the meeting for after next week. So that's the deal. That's the biggest pushback I got. We just asked them. And by doing it as an interview, you're building the relationship. You can actually ask them. The last question of my little survey is like, but you got to tell me one area we could actually get better. Because we want that too, right? And the relationship generation that comes from this is valuable. And this should be part of the business. Until you're crushing it on reviews, what if we just did it that way? That client that I was talking about before that's really struggling on that, they refused to do it. They just punt it to them. You know what they did? They punted them to my tool and said, go fill this out and get your own AI thing and tweak it however you want and put it up. Well, I'm going to ask, that's a pretty non-personal way to do it. I wouldn't advise that. Right. And then once you have that foundation of reviews that's right, then what you do is you jump on if you're doing this on a Zoom, record it, because you can take what they're basically saying and you can turn that into a mashup, like a sizzle reel of the client results that you're getting. And once you have that, then you can start systemizing your reviews. When you have that standard in place of some really strong foundational reviews, and then you can show, when you start systemizing it to scale it, you can show them the type of reviews that you're looking for, why it matters, how it's achieved, and then you can start thinking about how do we automate this. But I wouldn't automate it to start. It's too important. Any other questions, Stefan? Well, I'm going to find the Q&A tab, so just all right, very good. What do you got? Yeah, so what I'm talking about is LTV to CAC ratio. So, and we can do a growth math at the end of this. I'm going to ask about where we really want to dial in, because I'm making this for the HubSpot ecosystem. So the order that we go is negotiable, right? But what we're talking about is growth math. So what we should be able to do is add up the entire cost of marketing and the entire cost of sales. Okay. And then what you do is you look at the number of customers They came from sales and marketing. Okay. So let's say your entire cost of marketing and entire cost of sales, because you have multiple marketers, multiple salespeople, you have multiple tools, you have maybe a sales manager. Let's say that adds up to $500,000 for the year. Okay. And you got, for simplicity's sake, 5 customers. Your customer acquisition cost is $100,000. You take the $500,000 divided by 5 customers you got, and that's $100,000 customer acquisition cost. That would be very high. Now the deal is that then what you want to do is you want to do that again for marketing sourced leads. So you do what percentage of our sales time was spent with marketing source leads. So that's the percentage of the sales cost, right? And then virtually all of the marketing cost, right? So let's say that you had 500,000 total costs, but you recognize sales isn't dealing with that many leads from marketing. So you're going to do like less than half of the sales cost. And then what you're going to do is you're going to do all of the marketing costs. You end up with $300,000, right? As your total expenditure. And then, but you recognize you got 3 customers for marketing. That's $100,000 customer acquisition cost for marketing sourced leads. And then the deal is for scalable growth math at a minimum, this is really for software companies because they tend to have some pretty righteous margins, is you want an LTV to CAC. So of minimum 4-to-1 repaid in 12 months. That's a little complicated. We can make slides for this if you all want. Well, what that basically means is, let's just do this in simple math. If what you sell is $1,000 a month, and you're on average, you keep a customer for 4 years, that's $12,000 a year, 4 years, the customer's worth 48 grand, right? How much are you willing to spend for a customer? Mark Roberge's rules, HubSpot's minimum rules, is we got to have a 4-to-1 LTV to CAC. So that AKA, you take that 48K divided by 4 and you get 12. We could spend up to $12,000 to bring $48,000 into the business. Now, a lot of businesses cannot survive on that LTV to CAC ratio. They need a 5-to-1 or a 7-to-1 or an 8-to-1 just to be able to have the ability to net a profit, right? But the biggest thing you got to figure out is, what's your first year return on marketing? Scaling SaaS and tech companies oftentimes get their return on marketing in their second year when they renew, and they spend it all to scale the first year. So that the LTV, the first year revenue to CAC ratio is 1. They want to get it back in a year. You might want to say, I want to get it back in 6 months. So you just simply adjust your math. You need to understand what you're willing to do. What would you be willing to pay for 10 customers right now if you had them? And then, are you even utilizing that marketing budget? And then how are you utilizing that marketing budget is the question. That's a little complicated without slides. If you guys want me to do a growth math session, type in growth math into the chat and we'll tally it up and see if that's one of the ones we do early on. But the deal is, you just can't defy the rules of math. You need math on your side. Math is a worthy adversary. You can ignore it for like a little while, and then it just like smacks you hard. It's like, no, that is not working. Okay, so we need math on our side. If you want a growth math session, just type in growth math in the chat. Stefan, any other questions? And hopefully, that one's hard to answer without slides. I hope I got at least a start there for you. Yeah, so what you do is, I've definitely had that in the legal space, sometimes in the security space. And definitely the healthcare space. Like, I'm done doing healthcare. I'm done with that. But anyways, that's a different topic, different day. But the deal is that what you do is you go, I need the story, but I'm going to say leading blank provider. Leading blank provider. Does it make sense? Like, if you go through our brag book, I have a lot of redactions because I'm actually showing revenue generated. It's like showing people their bank account. So I redact out who the clients were. And that's the deal. And then what I have is I have a password protected page that has some clients' names, emails, and phone numbers. But I only give that to like Man, I think in the last 2 years, I've only given that to two people. They just wanted to talk to someone. Great. You call them and they'll give you their numbers. Okay. I've showed it to you. I just separated the lock from the key. You don't know exactly which client you're looking at. Okay. So that's how we do it, because some of the numbers are a little bit sensitive. Like I don't believe I have the permission to just put my clients' actual revenue growths up on the screen. What I do is I'm happy to do though is when clients hit the Inc. 5000 and stuff like that, I'll demonstrate that they did that. Right. I'll even work out the math that the Inc. 5000 clearly shows, and I will I'll publish that as well. But outside of that, I don't want to show my clients inside numbers. I just don't think I have permission to. Just like I don't have the permission. Stefan, can I show your bank account? Oh, I have Stefan's permission, but most people wouldn't say that. You know what I mean? All right. So what you do is you anonymize it. Is that the right word? You make it more anonymous. So leading blank provider. Um, that's basically the deal. What else we got? Mm. Oh, the survey. Okay, cool. So here's what I'll do, because I don't have that easily done. I'm just going to zoom back real quick. Okay. So let me come up, click on this, go back. Oh, that's a lot of clicking. I'm clicking like it's my job. All right. Screenshot the survey. And if you want to trial it, just message me. I'll send you a link. You can test drive it. I don't want to put it out on the whole interwebs, because every time it runs it costs, like, I don't know, some sense. I'm just afraid that someone's going to share that out, and then someone else with a big following will like it, and then they share it out, and then all of a sudden it's like $800 a day. So if you don't mind, if you want to play with it, just message me. I'll let you play with it. Cool. All right. So that's the deal. I got some right clicking to do, guys. So just give me a second. Stefan, you can prepare the next question. Okay, cool. I generally don't put out my slides, but if there's something I can help you with, just message me. Is that cool? All right, sweet. Now, oh, and by the way, when I say message me, not my email. I'll get that in 2 to 7 weeks, maybe. Could you message me on LinkedIn? I have a commitment to look at that. Okay, so that's the best one. All right. Now what I'd like to do is talk about the self-funding machine, talk you through some exact steps, some like we've already started shifting our priorities. Maybe I can show you some steps that might be useful in order to get us going. And then what we'll do is we'll do a little bit of a talking about the next session as we move to wrap up. For those that were with us for the hour, I hope this was super valuable. If those were with us for have a little bit more, we're going to go a little bit more. We're going to do this go-to-market mastery thing. This growth loop isn't just a cool graphic. It's what I believe we should be achieving. So when we're able to drive awareness, that's traffic. That's people being aware, and we're talking about their problems, their pains, as well as the results that we're providing. And we can drive that into a lead generating, demo generating system, right? And we can so we generate leads, we nurture those leads and activate them into a demo, into a sales call, into a consult. That's the handoff to sales that drives revenue. Now everyone gets this growth loop over here. We're just doing this side. But what we need to be doing is each piece of revenue is an opportunity to do amazing marketing, which is not just to get great results, but to document them in ratings, reviews, and case studies, so that when we have these retention calls, we can ask them to approve it and share it, right? And then you know what that does is that turns our clients into natural referrals. By the way, I get so many more referrals from the clients that have written testimonials. Isn't it crazy how that works? It's like we already broke the dam. We broke the seal. It's like it's already happening, right? Sometimes they'll just link to it. I've seen it. I've seen it in HubSpot that they came in through the thing and they just entered in on that page. I'm like, well, how did that happen? I know how it happened. My customer sent them there. You know what I mean? And then what that does is this impact side, documenting that as a function of marketing, right? It gives us the very best marketing to go back to drive awareness and acquisition. This is the pain. This is the struggle. This is the words that our customer used, because we have other customers that think the same way. That's the game. And this is the growth loop. And when you have that and you can get your marketing math in place, I'm going to show you a real key thing that we figured out in a minute, just so you know, so keep it fun. But that's the deal. But most of the time we don't have that because we're just focusing on traffic and leads over here. We're not focusing on the entire growth loop. That's the difference between having a marketing mindset and aligning all your metrics on that versus having a growth mindset of I need to grow this business and this brand and this story that we're creating. And it can be a self-funding growth loop once built. That's the game. But, first we got to understand what a growth loop is, and we got to recognize that we probably don't have a growth loop. We probably have growth poop. We probably have a broken engine where it's just leaking out, making a big old mess. And if, like, for example, if you're just missing activation, if you don't have the ability to have a high converting, at least at benchmarks, demo, consult, game plan, proposal, what else is there? Build and price. There's all those types of offers, right? If you don't have that, that's not working. Well, I'm sorry, you can drive as much traffic and leads unprofitably into that engine as you want. It's a busted growth engine, right? There's other forms of growth poop, which is over on this side, which is when you're not able to document results, you're not getting the ratings and reviews, you're not going to get the marketing that you need. It's gonna diminish your engine. And then there's the third one, which is this is what sets up negative growth. Like if you've struggled in the last several years, you can do all the awareness and acquisition that you want, but if you're broken on your growth engine, you're not gonna be able to put more money in because you didn't get more money. Okay, so that's kind of the deal. Now, I would like to show you how we built it, if that's okay. If you need a quick win, this is the thing that we figured out. It was when I did a project with HubSpot in 2021 or 2022. I think it's 2021. They rolled out a new version of their software. They invited me to be part of the go-to-market rollout of that. And I got to build a demo site for them and be featured in a couple places for them. And what I realized is before the software even launched, what were they working on? Reputation. So what we did is we flipped this. We flipped it. We built it from the bottom up. They built the story first. They said, Kevin, here's access to this product that we're rolling out. I want you to build something inside of this product. Build something that we can show not only what you built, but how you built it. So we can put this into the marketplace. They did that with me. They did that with others, right? They asked me to get input from my team. What does that look like from a designer's perspective, from a marketer's perspective? What does it look like from a developer's perspective? All of that went into the messaging because they got the actual feedback from the clients. Does that make sense? So they built the reputation and the results first. Then what did they do? They took it to their existing customers, their existing leads, their existing opportunities to drive revenue immediately. Then what did they do? They started marketing out to the leads they already had. Then what did they do? They made sure they had the assets to talk about this in the new way. And then what did they do? They hit the gas. I was like, oh my gosh, I've been doing this for 15 years backwards. Oops. Oops. That was my moment when I realized, oh my gosh, I've been doing the right steps in the wrong order. And how many millions of dollars has this cost me and clients? I don't know about y'all, but I get a little bit hard on myself when I realize I could have done it a better way. Okay. So the deal is that this is way faster ROI. You want to know why? You want to know why it's way faster ROI? Because building a reputation is actually really cheap. Documenting results is actually really cheap. The ROI on that it's so easy. Okay. Giving that to the hands of our sales team to where they're aware of it so they can utilize it, really compelling results, right? Is easy. Talking to your existing leads and your didn't buys and the not right nows about that is really easy. And here's the deal. If you don't get any business from that, it's not right yet. Like, this is go to market. Does it make sense? It's getting that foundation, positioning, messaging, proof, results, problem in the words of our customer dialed so that when we can just put out messaging and get branding inquiries. So this is kind of the process that we go through. We really focus on the trustworthy reputation first, then tapping into customer desires and developing compelling insights. Not about us, about them and their problem and the way we solve it. And then only then, when we know that's right, do we even think about the lead magnets and the sales funnels. And we make sure that's driving a 6-figure net new revenue. Six-figure net new revenue is exciting to exactly 0 people. Okay. Oftentimes we're talking with a company that's 5 million, 50 million. I had a $200 million client that didn't have any of this in place because they did all of their business through affiliated sales. They have resellers. So they had zero assets. They want to start at the top. I'm sorry. The top line revenue of your company does not give you a pass for the 5 phases of growth. It just doesn't. Okay. Now, if you were to think about this and what would be an amazing way to validate your go-to-market is to get this pieces in right to get to a, you can choose a smaller number, but you could do $1 million opportunity pipeline, make sure you're closing 30 to 50%. And that would be the deal. If that sounds like a big number to you, divide it by half. If that sounds like a big number to you, divide it by half again. And now we still have 6-figure net new revenue growth to know this is right. Most of the time when marketing's not working, this is where it's broke. Okay. Now, would you like to see the exact steps that we walk through just so that you can see how we achieve these circles? Because the circles are still a little vague, right? Like when I was looking at this, like this is going to be still a little vague. So here's the exact steps inside of our go-to-market, which we consider to be the right steps in the right order, which is we start with that RSP formula. RSP is result, system, proof, day one. Day one, module one, section one, hour one. Okay. And that involves the process of documenting the results that we've already created, going back, looking at the numbers, calling some clients, asking them about the numbers, right? Thinking about the system that justifies that result. What are you doing different than these competitors, right? And getting that legitimately written out on a third-party website, documented proof, and then turning that, of course, into case studies is easy once you have it on a third-party website, okay? Then nailing the ideal customer profile. Oftentimes, you don't even know what qualified lead is. Once you know what a qualified lead is for your ideal customer, you can start thinking about what do they need to see, what do they need to hear to perk up and go, oh my gosh, this is for me. Most of the time, we haven't documented that. We literally haven't documented what a cold customer who doesn't know us, like us, trust us actually wants to see and hear. What we're doing is we're talking about our own stuff. Well, let's think about that from a marketing perspective. We're saying, hey, go figure out everything about me and then figure out if that applies to you. And we wonder why our marketing is falling flat. Okay, so we got to switch that into talking about customers and their desires, their pains, their goals, their frustrations, and we could show how we solve it. Okay. The key three shifts are a little bit deeper topic. We can talk about that. It's ultimately marketing is changing beliefs with the intent of a sale. So what we're talking to do is we're talking about the change of beliefs that our customer has to make, because by default, they're no, right? They're no by default. So we got to go, which beliefs are we actually changing here? What are their doubts? What are their suspicions? What are their concerns? What are their objections? If you haven't documented that and documented the exact stories and examples you need to overcome them, well, then that's why your marketing is not effective. You're not talking about the right stuff. This is level one. Okay. Then we turn around and we start talking about positioning your brand. We go into the attractive character. You can Google that. Russell Brunson talks about the attractive character. That's something we can do as a session if you guys want. How to position your brand as an authority and walk them through the journey that is compelling marketing based upon your experiences. Then we got to nail those impressive results. We got to nail them. We started it over here in step one, but we got to nail it, document it, and we turn that into an asset. And then we go out to market. The reason why we do it here is because I actually want to hear their words. I want to hear their words so I can use their words, use my market's actual words inside of my marketing. And I'm gonna develop the frame from which I approach the market. I'm gonna develop my core positioning, and I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna test my magnetic message. I start testing right here, level 2, to know if my messaging is getting insights. I don't need 5,000 people to see my message if no one responds when 500 see it, if no one responds when 50 see it. That's what the algorithm has figured out for us. If 150 people have seen this and no one liked it, I don't need to show it to anybody else. We got to break through that. Okay. Then we go into a little bit of that more traditional, okay, I'm used to this stuff. Lead magnets, method magnets, how you get the result, right? Demos, whiteboard webinars, workshops, challenges. There's all sorts of ways to do that, right? Then we get our sales funnel and we get sales involved. We get our offers dialed, and then we go validate that it's working. We make sure we get a minimum 6-figure net new revenue from just these core pieces that are buildable in a few weeks. Holy crap. Maybe we should be shifting our efforts. This is weeks, not months and quarters. Okay. All right. That's session 1 from me. How do you do this? How do you do it? How the blank do you do it? I already have a full-time job. Thank you, Kevin. 10 hours a week. You go get buy-in from the leadership. We're actually in phase 1 of the 5 phases of growth. We need to get this right. I'm asking that we divert 1/4 of my time to building our go-to-market foundation, and we really get our assets in place. We get our results in place. We get the customer desires documented, the shifts they need to make, our third-party evidence that we are a legitimate, upstanding, high-performing company, so that we can take the insights that we got from our interviews to the market and make sure that people like the message. 10 hours a week. Okay. I do suggest that you build it from the bottom up. Only once you have the system in place and it's up, do you start thinking about dividing this into marketing, sales, and success? Until then, I view CEO, sales, marketing are all part of the growth team of getting the engine built. Okay. Then you add in, some next level positioning. And ultimately, when you get the go-to-market mature, you're able to outmarket, outsell, and therefore outgrow the competition, because you're not doing more of it. It's just more effective. Okay. So that's the game. Stefan, any other new questions come in? Because I'm kind of at the end of my slides. I do have my ask coming in just a minute, but that's where I'm at. Any other questions come in? This might be a good spot. Yeah. So the trustworthy reputation is about documenting what I already did instead of promising what's possible. So it's really just going back, and it's going back to my prior clients. If you ever look through your reviews, I have done this on my own brand, just so you know. This is the do what I learned, not do what I did. And all your testimonials like, oh, we really like them, or they did a good job, or they're so responsive. But there's no actual tangible business results. You know what it is? It's called calling them up. Can we talk about where your business was before and what that felt like, and where your business is now and what that feels like? Maybe you're not B2B. Can we talk about what your weight was before and what that felt like, and what your weight is now that you went through my program of fitness and whatever, and what that feels like? And you just go back. It's going back in time to document what you've already done and build out the proof, but you're talking about a real, tangible, impactful, generally emotional results. If you think emotional doesn't apply to B2B, you're crazy. We're still selling to humans. I have not yet sold anything to AI. Okay. So the deal is what did it feel like to have this problem in your business? What did it feel like to switch over to our system? And what was the tangible business result that came from it? That's the trustworthy reputation part. Okay. And you have my screenshot of the deal. If you want to walk through it, just message me. I'll get you a link. Anything else, Stefan, before I move on? Oh my gosh, I can't believe we're actually going to finish on time. Now, I'm going to ask you guys 2 things, but let's go in order. First thing I want to ask you is, how did I do? How did I do? I'm going to ask it in a very specific way. I would really appreciate your feedback and review. If this was valuable, I would really like you to fill out a survey. Stefan, will you drop in the link to the Hug event form if you're not sure what a Hug is? Like, it's because we're family here, but it's also HubSpot user group event form. If you don't want to share your email with me because you're private, just put in like first name at private.com or something. Like, it's not about that. It's about, I want to understand what this today's training is worth. I'm really interested in you putting in an honest assessment of what the value will be once implemented. Did I save you $5,000 in misplaced focus of what your marketing spend is, or $5,000 a month? Could it have saved or made you $50K last year or $500K? What about what it's going to do now to shorten your path of what you need to be focusing on? So my request is you just go fill out a really short survey. And I have a little bit of a bribe. If you fill that out, I'll send you this growth roadmap which is just a short training that walks through the steps that we walk our clients through to get them traction out of the gate. I'll send you that growth roadmap and as a little bribe, and a thank you for giving me that feedback. And if you don't mind, so first off, is that okay thing? Is that okay thing? If you put it in the chat, is that a reasonable thing? How do I open the chat? All right, cool. If that's a reasonable ask after this session, just put in yes. Is that okay? All right, cool. Hey guys, can I show you something right now? You know what I'm doing? I'm modeling what I want you to be doing when you're talking to your customers. Just ask them, how the blank are we doing? And can we start thinking about talking about what the result and the impact is that we are having on your business? Because I want to make sure it's the maximum amount. How about that? Is that fun? What if I told you this is not the first time I did that? What if I told you I've been using this gift for a while? So hopefully that's helpful. You can see it's not that hard. It's not that awkward. Did that feel bad to you? Did that feel weird to you? Yeah, it's natural because ultimately, in my opinion, it brings us closer together. We're working on the same goal. Okay? Now, if you don't mind, I want to get a little bit of feedback right now. What is your number? Have you thought about it? Would you put it in the chat? If you wouldn't mind, put the number in the chat. Don't make up some fake number. I throw those out because I have a spreadsheet for my growth playbook, for my growth challenge, for my growth intensive, for my growth accelerator. I ask them what's the value is, and I run an average. And if you give me some stupid wacky number, like $7 billion, I throw that out. So that's not helping anybody. Okay. And I would love to get an idea of what do you think this session is going to have as an impact in your business and the focus that you have, some things you can stop doing, some things you can focus on. What do you think the impact of the business will be in the next 3 to 6 months, right? 3 to 7 months, that time frame that generally people are looking for results. I would love a dollar amount just to get kind of what planet I'm on. I would love to see that. Bum, 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 bum. There's always a little bit of lag on the deal. So if you don't mind, type a dollar amount into the chat of what you think this would be for your business, and we'll talk about the next session as the last thing. Tony's asking when the next session is. That's a great question. We have not actually done that. We'll decide it with this group right here, whether we do one in December, which I think is a little bit scary, or do we kick it to January? Oh, by the way, I'm speaking at Traffic and Conversion Summit in January. If you want a discount code, I have a $400 off that ticket discount code. If you're going, message me. I'll drop that to you. So if you guys don't mind, the dollar amount of today's session, and then just answer me this question. Do you want the next session to be in December or in January? So type in, okay, so Christina said January because she's being real. Christina, props for the realisticness of what December feels like, right? I see December. I see another January. Okay, y'all are splitting the vote here on this one. Huh? Tomorrow. Yeah, that's good. I like it. Appreciate the enthusiasm. I'm leaning towards January just because I feel like what's going to happen is that could be a strong momentum event. However, if you think that how about this? Give me your feedback form and just put that. I asked you for how we can make this better. If your biggest thing is give it to me in December because I need to be working on this now, I will hear you and we will definitely consider it. So if you just go to the event form, then just give me that and we'll decide whether we're doing it in December and January. And yes, would have been more ideal to have already had the next date figured out. Yeah, that would have been more ideal. We're busy too. Okay, so that's the deal. All right, we're there. I will appreciate it if you'll fill out that little form. That gives me the feedback that I need of where we could do better. This is the end of today, or is it just the beginning of dialing in our go-to-market? I appreciate you guys being here. I look forward to inviting you to the next session. You can subscribe to the thing at events.hubspot.com for the go-to-market mastery. Or if you fill out that little event form, then we will invite you to the next one naturally. And this is a lot of fun for me. This is the sport I want to play. I hope that's a sport that you want to play too. We'll do it together, level each other up, go get some results. Stefan, we good? All right, guys. Much appreciation. I'm going to sign off for now. And I appreciate you being a part of this. So I'll see you guys later.